Hey drivers, are you looking for a new job or are you looking just to become a new lease driver? Well, NCI offers new Kenworth T680 double bunk condos with APU and refrigerator, all standard in all of their equipment. Come aboard and become a lease operator, or you can become a company driver. NCI offers regional positions, over-the-road positions, team positions, and also NCI will take on a few students if you've graduated from a trucking school. Pick up the phone, check out NCI, and see if they have what you're looking for at 888-311-7076. That's 888-311-7076. Hey drivers, have you thought about becoming your own company? Have you thought you'd like to get your own authority and DOT number, but you just don't know how to go about doing it? Well, call JJ Keller and Associates. They can help you get the proper registration and credentials that you need to operate legally. They protect drivers from penalties and out of service orders as a result of not having the proper authority. They save drivers time by filing their paperwork and ensuring everything is correct. Drivers, they also help you with unified carrier registration, US DOT and MC numbers, MCS 150 updates, year-around authority monitoring, and plenty more. Drivers, if you're looking to become your own company and you want your own authority number and DOT number today, call JJ Keller and Associates at 888-601-2017. That's 888-601-2017 and tell them TalkCDL sent you. Thank you. All right, we are here, and you know what I wanted to do is address the white elephant in the room.
That's not a white elephant. That's a tractor.
Where?
Up there. It's the only white thing. Well, right there it is. It's the only white thing in the room.
Right. I want to address the white elephant. You know, when they say the white elephant, it's just like what they're saying is the obvious thing. And I've been talking to a lot of trucking companies lately, and one of the issues in trucking, you know, since the pandemic has started, is getting truckers to not collect unemployment
to get back to work
and get back to work. And like, there's write-ups over it. Trucking companies are begging. I just read a report. It says 1.3 million people in trucking are actually still out of work that they know of. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, because there's work.
Yeah. Well, I know that, but you know, and again, we've talked about this before. You know, one of the white elephants is, okay, if you were collecting, say, $400 a week, you're now getting an additional
400.
Is it 400 right now? So if you're the average dry van hauler, what is an average dry van guy might gross $1,000 to $1,200 a week? I mean, sincerely. And that guy, after taxes, might bring home $800-900, even $1,000. Well, if you're able to collect $800, right, without working, without being gone on the road, you have absolutely not much of an incentive to go back to work. And that is what's going on. And it looks like Ruthann just left the building. We were sitting here doing a podcast and she got something in her throat, smiled, got up, and went out there and created yet another elephant in the room. Now I'm sitting here all alone on the pod. Wow, what a good timing. All right, here she comes. So you got something in your throat.
Yeah. And I was trying not to cough in here, and because I know you hate when I do something like that, so
yeah,
I had to.
It was just really weird timing.
It was weird timing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It didn't want to listen to me when I told it to shut up, so I mean.
Yeah. So anyways, so going back to this unemployment thing in the trucking industry, okay, there's no incentive for a truck driver to go back to work. Even if he was to go back to work and bring home another $200 a week, what's the incentive? I could sit home and get paid.
Well, some companies are giving bonuses now, I heard.
Well, I mean, still think about it though. I understand all that, but think about this. If I'm going to go out and be gone 2-3 weeks at a time, but I can collect just under what I'm going to make being gone 2-3 weeks at a time, what do you think most truck drivers are going to take?
They're going to take the easy way out.
And listen, let's be honest, okay? It's a lot of it. A lot of these guys that are listening right now are probably going, yeah, what incentive do I have to go back to work? I mean, I'm sitting at home. I'm enjoying my family. There's a supposed pandemic going on. People are using that as an excuse. I call it the virus, you know. But go ahead.
They're now opening up everything, like in the state of Florida.
Right.
They just completed it. It's like now there's no restrictions on anything with flying, like all of that stuff is back to normal. The senator said, that's it, we're done. Take it all back to normal. And I think other states have done that too. So if you're going to try and use the pandemic as an excuse, the companies now that are normal operating companies are going to say there is no excuse anymore. It's you not wanting to work. And now it's going to turn from being, okay, we understand there was restrictions, but some of these companies are now going to start looking at you differently of you not wanting to work.
Well, but you got to understand, and this is where the part where, because I'm the most understanding guy you know.
No, he's not.
Yes, I am. I do. I understand these guys. If it's me, I mean, what incentive do I have to go work if I don't have to be out?
Your DAC, your work history.
Oh, that's not going to affect. Listen, right? I'm going to tell you something. If anything's ever been an excuse that since March until now, not many trucking companies are going to hold it. Now the guy that runs the risk the most right now in trucking, that has taken, say, all year off because of the pandemic. I'm going to tell you which guy that is. That's the guy that hasn't driven much. Like the guy that only has 6 months or 3 months experience. When he comes back, let's say he waits till after the first of the year. And this is the time of the year we all know you're getting closer to the end of the year. A lot of people, and let me tell you what one guy said to me the other day. He goes, man, I'm waiting for this brutal election to get over with. And I'm thinking, what the hell does that have to do with going back to work? So, but what's really going to happen is winter's going to set in, and then most drivers are going to be like, well, I'm going to wait till after the first of the year. So, but now you got a whole year off, and you might only have 3 to 6 months experience. And that's the guy that's going to really be hurting more than anybody to get a good job. I'm not saying you won't be able to get a job, but the really good companies.
Yeah, because the companies are all going to be are going to open up and say we need drivers because they're already needing them, and they're all starting to get very needy of drivers.
Right.
But it's going to get to where they're still going to be picky, but they're going to be opening them up to where those drivers that do only have 3 to 6 months of experience, the companies are going to say, we just need drivers. We need to fill our seats because they've waited too long to come back to work. And
I'll tell you what's going to happen since there's this 1.3 million gigantic amount of people in trucking that are on unemployment right now. Let me tell you what's going to happen. And this is one of the things some of you drivers out there should really listen to. A lot of unemployment is going to run out at the same time. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff is going to run out at the same time. And so all of a sudden you think, oh, there's this really crazy amount of jobs waiting for me when I decide to go back.
Right.
What's going to happen is it's going to be like a stampede. Mm-hmm. In just a short time, a lot of this stuff is going to halt. And if you're a guy waiting till the last unemployment paycheck to go back to work, if you have a bad work history, if you have accidents on your record, or if you have very little experience in the last, say, 18 months, you might want to get a jump while a lot of companies are saying, listen, I will give you a job if you come back right now. Because when the stampede and all the unemployment stops, I'm going to tell you right now, a trucking company says, I got 25 open trucks, and all of a sudden 500 drivers apply. Well, guess what they're going to take? They're going to take the top 25 guys. Mm-hmm. But right now, if you know that you're going to be one of those guys that it's harder to compete for a job, you might want to get out there and go back to work now. I'm just saying, it's just advice from me.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. And here's the other thing.
What's the other thing?
These directors of recruiting, these safety directors, the ones that make those final decisions,
right? They're
going to start looking at these drivers and saying, we know that's what you're doing is waiting to the end. They're going to start looking at these drivers and wanting them to come back. I mean, I mean, that's what I'm thinking is they're going to want these drivers because they need the drivers now, and the pandemic part is all over with. They can give the leeway and saying, okay, well, we know everything was shut down. You had no choice but not to work then. Now you have choices. And if you're going to choose between working and not working, they're going to look at these drivers that take it to the last minute and say, you could have worked
Okay,
a
so
while
what's
ago.
the end result?
They're going to want the drivers that want to come back to work now versus the drivers that are going to take it to the very last minute of working. I mean, they're still going to take the good drivers. I'm just saying, if you're a driver that's taking it to the very end and taking your time on wanting to come back to work, you're not showing a good incentive for working. And if they have a driver that's wanting to work and they have a driver that took all the time off that he possibly could, it just
you
doesn't
just
look
said
as
the
good.
same thing 500 times in a row.
Yeah, I know, because you keep giving me that hairy eyeball.
Well, I'm looking at you like, why you sound like a broken record? I mean, but you're right. And really for the drivers that have a lot of baggage. And that's really what it comes down to. If you're a driver that's got 10 years experience or 5 years experience and you get a good record, hey, taking a year off is not going to kill you. That's just the bottom line. You know that, Ruthann.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But for all you drivers that got baggage, tickets, accidents, a lot of jobs, whatever, when the stampede hits, and I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I don't know when. I couldn't say, is it going to happen right after election? Is it going to happen after the first of the year? Is it going to happen, at the end of November, at the end of October? Who knows? But there's going to be a stampede because a lot of drivers are going to run out of unemployment. Well, when that happens, the drivers, again, that are really, your drivers that have screwed up a lot or don't have a lot to offer or a lot to bring onto the table, you're going to be the guy really that has a real bitch of a time getting a job. Instead, and now you can't collect unemployment. That's all I'm going to say. We're beating this one down. Okay, let's move on.
I think it's, yes, we are beating it right now, and we've gone really overboard with it.
Yes.
I don't want to see a driver. I don't want to see any person lose out on a good job, a good opportunity, because they wanted to extend it as far as they possibly can, and then lose that, especially if you're a driver that had a really good work history. You in this day and age, drivers can get looked down on because of that, and I don't want to see that.
Okay, Mama, you care a lot. All right.
I do.
Let's move on, all right?
Yep.
You're awful chatty tonight. You notice that?
Well, I've been asking you to do this pod for a while.
Well, I mean, but you're really chatty.
I don't know why.
Like, you're chatty.
Like,
you're bugging me out.
Wow.
Yeah. It's all right.
I haven't done anything but choked on, well.
What did you choke on? A loogie? Was that your own?
It just went down like I guess swallowed wrong or whatever. It just went down wrong, and I'm like, it's just tickled.
Did you hawk one back?
No. I don't do that very well.
Listen to this. Let's move on. Okay. This week we actually posted this. I guess it was on Facebook. I think one of the media pages. They posted a dump truck that had not put his bed down. And he hit a sign. The sign actually fell on a Ford F-150 and killed the guy.
Ooh.
I know. Well, so a report just came out, and this is really weird. It says a Cleveland-based trucking company involved in a deadly crash on I-480. This was up in Cleveland Thursday. Was also involved in a deadly accident last October. Basically, it looks like a driver. It says, according to records from the Ohio State Highway Patrol, a Midland concrete and sand transportation dump truck hit a cement medium barrier on the Ohio Turnpike near Strongsville last October. The driver of that truck, 59-year-old Raynard Holmes, died. So, they said that was the result of a blown tire. So I don't even understand the article, why they're so tying, okay, here's another death involved. That was not negligence unless, of course, the tire was, you know what I mean, beyond.
So it's the same company 1 year later?
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, 1 year late because we're going into October. So basically, yeah.
So they're trying to find fault with the company on something that they're doing.
Well, here's the deal. The only way you can find fault with last October's accident, tires have to be 430 seconds. If and the drives, steers have to be 430 seconds, and the drives have to be 230 seconds deep. So. If it's any less than that, then you could say, well, somebody was negligently driving on bad tires that it blew out on that one last year.
Yeah,
Okay.
but can I ask a question quick?
Sure.
So how long do you think a tractor's tires last? I mean, a car's last, what, 20 to 40,
Depends on the
50,000?
driver. I'll tell you what helps is keeping your air pressure up and maintaining your tires, tire maintenance. You can make them last quite a while. I forget the miles, how many miles you actually get from an actual tire.
But you think with a tractor, since, a commercial vehicle, they travel a lot more than your standard car. So what do you think? You replace your tractor's tires twice a year?
No, not that often. No, they'll last longer than that. Google it. I don't want to sound stupid and guess.
Okay.
My guess is probably 2 or 3 years a tire should last. At least 2 years.
Tractor tires?
Yeah, why not? I don't think they're gonna. I don't think you have to replace them every year. My gosh, it's like a couple $1,000 just in tires. So now listen. Here's the accident I want to talk about. What I really want to talk about was the accident that happened the other day. And the reason I want to talk about it is because of the way the report looked. This is what it said.
Okay.
So the driver, his bed didn't come down, and he went down the interstate, hit a sign, right, because the bed was up in the air, and it knocked off and came down and crushed and killed a guy behind him in the pickup. Okay. The report, it said it was under investigation to determine whether it was mechanical or driver error. Let me ask you a question. And I already know my answer, and I know most truck drivers' answers that I've read. What would your thoughts be on something like that? Do you think something like that would be mechanical or driver error? Think about that.
Tell me it again, because I'm still trying to picture
So it
it.
was a dump truck, right? He dumped his load somewhere. Actually, I think it was at a construction site, it said.
And he went driving down the road with the boom up, right?
Exactly.
Well, duh. That's the driver error. He shouldn't have moved his truck at all.
I 100% agree with you.
If he couldn't get his boom down, he shouldn't have moved it and put it on a road, period. But if he had to move away from that construction area or whatever for safety reasons and then work on it, that's one thing. But it should have never moved if it wouldn't go down.
I agree with that. I mean, I know they have sensors on some of them that tell you that it's still up. But the bottom line is, listen, now listen, I will say this. I've pulled dump trailers, and some of them will get so far down and take forever to come down. But somehow, some way, you've got to be able to at least get them down low enough to where you're not going to be clipping signs or bridges. And we've seen that over the years where one guy's going down the interstate at 70 mile an hour with the box fully up in the air, hits a bridge and just wipes out. How can you not even look in your mirror and determine you're dumping that many? Because those guys dump more than once a day, a lot of times, 2, 3, 4 times a day. So they're so used to dumping and then just rolling like it's nothing. My gosh, if you go around a turn sharp enough, it's going to roll you. I mean, it's insane.
Shouldn't they be doing a pre-trip every time they empty and drive away?
Well, I think I think that there should be a rule of thumb. And I know that some companies are like, you don't move unless you're down, or you'll get fired.
Wouldn't that be a DOT regulation?
I don't know. That I don't know. And that's a good question. Maybe we'll look that up then.
Sensei.
And find out if it's a regulation. Yeah, maybe we should start jotting some questions down for our Indiana DOT officer, and we'll give him a buzz on the next pod. I don't want to dial anybody tonight anymore. We've been interviewing people like crazy, and we're in here late anyways. So my thoughts are exactly what you said. Driver error. And you see, I looked at a lot of the drivers that were blogging over that, and every one of them said the same thing. They said, why the hell would the state troopers be trying to determine if it was mechanical? The guy shouldn't have been driving down the road to begin with his boom up that high. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because even if it was mechanical, the driver shouldn't have left that area. He should have called his company and said, listen, this boom won't go down. The truck won't, the box isn't going down. We need to have someone come out and take a look at it because I'm not moving my tractor. I'm not moving this with it up. I mean, they should not want him to move it with it up, because if he moved it, even if he wouldn't have done any damage as far as like what happened, can't he bend the boom to where, just from being driven, it can end up bending and then the whole thing get ruined?
I don't know.
I mean, there could be a lot of different things about it. I mean, think about it. Like you said, just taking the turn wrong, the whole thing could shift and fall over.
No, so what it really comes down to, in my opinion, is there's so many things that we can look back at in a day and say, if I would have only taken my time. Now that driver has the death of somebody on his hands, and he's got to be thinking, at least if he's a driver with a conscience, he's got to be thinking, shoot, if I would have just waited for that box to be down. And like I said, a lot of times the box will come down and there'll be like a couple feet left, which that's not a problem unless you're going under a low bridge. Okay, if you already know, you're not, I could see going down the road with it up 1 or 2 feet, because sometimes it'll just sit there for a little while, especially if you get one where the hydraulic doesn't want to let go or doesn't want to, let it down. But I will tell you honestly, like my grandfather and we used to pull one of those end dumps down to Philly, New Jersey, all that. And you know what? My grandfather would never go anywhere with the bed in the air. He left it get down. He would double check to make sure that thing was down.
I just, like I said, I just think that it's could cause more damages. I mean, just not even if you think about you being involved in an accident, just equipment being damaged just from driving with it still up. I would say that it could, bend. It could just do other damages to the equipment.
All right, so listen, let's move on. I think you were the med card thing, the extension. Did you have something on that, or did you want me to?
Well, they have, the FMCSA has stated that what they're going to do now for the drivers is, if your med card originally was expiring from March 1st, 2020 till now, anytime in between there, they've now extended it through December 31st. So it originally was only extended to September 30th, but they went further and finished off the year so that drivers have a little bit longer that they can actually go and get their renewal for their med card. So, and I notice in this report here, FMCSA extends COVID waivers for CDLs, med certs through December. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration on September 18th expanded its waiver. Here's what it allows: a truck driver to operate with an expired, now keep in mind, not a suspended, but an expired commercial driver's license. So your license itself, if it expired after March 1st, if you had a commercial learner's permit, or like Ruthann just said, your medical certification, your DOT medical card, if it expired after March 1st, and because that's basically when everything's shut down and you can't even get into these driver's license places or anything like that, it's now going to be extended till, and it was originally supposed to end September 30th, I think, but they extended it to December 30th. See, the extension is effective through December 31st. So right now, if you do have a expired CDL, a learner's permit, or your med card, DOT, physical, whatever you want to call it, it is still going to be good. Now, one thing I would say, though, is if you got blood pressure problems, blood sugar problems, I would definitely be, monitoring that myself, because there's a reason why a doctor, Ruthann, there's a reason why some of these guys, they'll go in and they'll get a 3-month or a 6-month physical, because the doctor will not sign off, because maybe the guy, I actually seen a guy recently get a 30-day. Yeah.
You're in bad health when the doctor says, I'm going to give you a 30-day physical, and I want you to come back. And this guy had like a sleep apnea machine problem, whatever. So they wanted to get 30 more days of reading or something.
Well, here's the thing also. I mean, the DMV is open
They're opening now, yeah.
I mean, well, I went in there and it was open before that. But the problem is that their hours are now, some of them are limited. So these drivers aren't in there to get it. So when you're trying to get to where you're trying to get your med card, because these places are offering it, it's just for the driver to be able to get to it. And then some of the agencies in the smaller towns are still not opened. So those are still over. Like ours happens to be open right now, where a driver could get his med card and get that done. But other areas where the towns are smaller, those are the drivers that are having a harder time.
And states.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are the ones that are having a harder time where they can't get in there. And then when you're trying to do it all, especially if it was expired and you have to actually go into the DMV or, because some of them now, some of the states are linked with the offices that where the doctor does the med cert at. They're linked to it where the drivers aren't having to go and redo it. But because of the systems going on right now, they're having to go in. So it ends up being where if you can get in to get your med card, I would suggest trying to just get it done, because once that opens back up, it's going to be like
a flood.
Yeah, you won't get in there good. I mean,
that's what I've been saying. It's like it's the same with what we were just talking about with when unemployment goes away. 5 million people are going to be rushing to get a job at the same time. Here you go. You've got the same exact thing with the DMV. Once it, especially when you get closer to the expiration limit, right, in December 31st, you're going to have a lot of people that now the trucking company cannot accept you after December, unless they extend it again. But I don't think they're going to either.
No, they've already extended it a few times. And then here's on top of that, you're looking at the holidays. So you have places that go and they shut down for the holiday because, Christmas and so forth are national. So those places are closed then. Now you're going to deal with an agency like your offices, like the doctors or those quick care type of places that do these certifications at. Yeah. They're not going to have normal operating hours. And then in the winter, you're going to have where it's flooded there just from people being sick. So I would suggest you try and get it done as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah. Why don't we move on? I was going to ask you a question. If we went back on the road, what would you rather? One of those Peterbilt 389s. Remember when the only lady trucker, Kelly McCulley, was down, her and Kevin McCulley, and they stayed a night or two here at the ranch. And Kevin,
the ranch,
the ranch. And anyways, Kevin had his red. That was a 389 Pete that we took him and dropped him off. He had that red 389 Pete. It was a nice truck. Yeah. But what would you rather? The 389 Pete, or I'm going to show you a picture of something. Okay, 389 Pete or the new W990. That's the new W990. Isn't that pretty? I've always liked Peterbilt over Kenworth. Actually, I'd go back and forth. But I gotta be honest with you. I think I like here you go, check that out. Isn't that nice? The 990. I think I like the W990 over the 389 Pete.
See, and here's where we're coming into the differences between
right there it is.
Me and you.
Well, do you like that?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
But here's the differences. See, this is where it comes to the little boy and his toys and the efficiency of the female.
Okay.
I would have to see the inside. I would want to know what the inside. I don't care the difference on the outside. To me, the Pete and the KW, those two different ones that you show me, they're really, really similar to me because I don't know the differences. But the inside's going to be where I'm going to make more of my judgment. What kind of storage space I have, how big is the fridge area, can I fit other cooking stuff in there like the toaster oven, the microwave, what all those good stuff that is, and how much space do I have sleeping?
Okay, so here's what there's a lot of factors if you have the privilege of picking out the truck you actually want to just buy. And I agree, the room, like, for example, Volvos, beautiful inside room, spacious, That's but standard. I mean, I would want a little bit of an extended sleeper, but I got to tell you, the ride and the handling is huge when it comes to, you drive a hood. A lot of guys out there have never driven a hood.
No, they had those little short nose ones.
A lot of them drive the Aerodyne. Okay, all your Cascadias, your T680s, your 579s, all these Aerodyne trucks. Nothing like the Western Star that we used to have, the hood. Okay.
There's another one we had a hood on.
379. That 379 we used to use at Henry's. But there's nothing, honestly, like a heavier, extended axle, a bigger wheelbase tractor going down the road and out on the open road compared to the difference, the way, the swaying and the looseness. I'm telling you, you drive a hood, something solid, and then you drive a disposable truck like a T680 or a Cascadia, what I call a disposable truck. It's not something someone's going to try to keep like a nice 389P to 379P to W900 to W990, a Western Star, even Marmons from way back. You see these stuff being restored and the hooded trucks staying, they keep them going.
You should see his hands are going everywhere. He's like so into this conversation.
But I'm just saying, when you drive one and you keep it maintained, it's oh my gosh, it's like a difference. So you got to take that in consideration. If you're going to be out there on the road, you definitely want something that's really, it's like driving a Porsche versus a little Toyota Corolla. You'll never get back in the Corolla again once you drive a 911 Porsche. Also, not only the handling and the ride of that vehicle, also the most important part of a big important part is how you look going down the road. Okay.
Oh, see there it
status.
There it is.
Status is a lot.
Forget your fuel mileage. It's status.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, there's a reason why people buy a Camaro or their favorite muscle car.
Yeah, that's called I'm in my retirement age. I got white hair and I'm trying to make up for my lost time.
Listen, you buy a muscle car or even an older Chevelle or something, you buy that, right, because of the quality of it and the status of it. Coming down the road in a 69 Chevelle or a 68 Camaro, a Z28,
reliving those good old days.
That's some bad to the bone stuff. So, if I'm going to be buying and purchasing myself, I'm talking about going back on the road and purchasing a rig. I am not going to purchase. I don't want to purchase, even though, make a couple dollars more. Okay. But you know what? In the long run, I'm happier in that hood. I really am. There's a reason why you pay a little bit more for something, and that's because you get enjoyment out of it. So, and then as far as the inside goes, I'd let you look then. So you would have to see which one you liked. That was a hood. I'm telling you, if I was buying one, I'd buy a hood.
Well, here's the thing.
If I was long haul.
If we were going out on the road now,
yeah,
it would be mainly because you're retiring. Like we're retiring from everything else, and kids are out, and it's let's finish our years driving.
I'm gonna tell you what I would do. Do you want to know what I would probably do if we were retired and going back on the road? Who I would probably get in with? Seriously, one of the moving companies. I got friends that work approximately 8-9 months of the year, and then they park their truck for about 3 to 4 months, and they make a murdering killing.
Yeah,
and I know some people that are
United, those moving Atlas.
Right, you want to be with a good agent, but I'm just saying there's some amazing furniture, bed buggers, what they call bed buggers.
No, I would want to work for like the companies that do the shows.
Well, see,
I don't want to do that. That way I could just watch shows.
What's the name of that company that we sponsor or sponsors us? Upstaging. Yeah, they're one of them. They're one of the companies that do that. And you know what? If you're retired, that's probably a nice job too. Because you're out on the road and you know how many miles a week you run? Not many. You're just from show to show. You may be somewhere for 3 days. You're getting paid for every day you're out there. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if they take owner operators, but that would be a really nice job. And
I'm sure they do.
Have Peterbilts, by the way. So, but no, personally, I would want one of those new W990s. I like them, and I'd want to get it customized. So, anyways, that's just me pipe dreaming, just a little daydreaming.
So you're gonna get it customized to look like a Corvette on the outside?
No, why are you smoking something?
No. I just know you like Corvettes, and that's where your Corvette fund money would be going into. It's a tractor.
I'm never getting a Corvette. The reason I'm never going to get a Corvette, I'm just being honest, is because you're laying down. And so to get in and out, I would, you know how like old people get those electric lift chairs? I would want one for the Corvette. I'm not saying that I can get in or that I can't get in or out, but I sure wouldn't want to be struggling all the time, laying in that car, getting out.
You see the Corvette, the body
like,
goes up.
Exactly. That would be me. I would get the electric lift Corvette.
Then it would bounce.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, you know what? Let's move on. You have a word of the day.
I got two because I couldn't decide.
You've got two
Yeah.
words of the day?
Yeah.
So 2 words of the day.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the first word of the day?
Hold on, I got to turn my thing up.
And this is by
Word Genius.
By Word Genius.
Word Genius.
Guys, check out Word Genius. This is like, they're so fun. They send Ruthann a new word every day, and you guys only get the podcast once a week. So you're missing 6 words of the day.
Well, some of them are boring, so I don't. But, you know.
Well, some of them may be boring, but at least it's a new word, and it might not be boring to somebody that's
true.
You know what I mean? To you, it's boring.
Yeah, I might already know those words.
I doubt she knows the words.
No, I don't know all of them. No.
Okay.
No, there's quite a few every week that I'll get that I'm like, what the heck?
And listen, Word Genius is not one of our sponsors, but
I like
because we use Word Genius, we're kind of hoping to help grow them. So go ahead, Ruthann. First word from Word Genius.
Logamaki.
Logamaki.
Logo.
Logamaki.
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 Spell it.
Logomachy.
Okay.
Logamaki.
What does logamaki mean?
An argument about words.
Really?
Yeah.
Like we were just doing. We just had a logamaki.
A logamachy might seem silly, but it's important to get your message across.
Almost like when somebody says just semantics. Words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a logamachy over what our new team slogan should be.
There's lots of logamaki on the CB.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, that's a trucker thing. We can use logamaki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, drivers. Use that.
Logamaki. Ruthann, do you have a second word of the day?
I do.
Let's say you're a girl.
Okay.
Girl. That's my southern thing.
Scuttlebutt.
Scuttlebutt. I've heard that before.
I'm sorry. I had to.
Scuttlebutt.
Scuttlebutt.
Scuttle. Is it just like it sounds spelled? SKUTTLEBUTT.
Yep. Scuttlebutt.
So what's a scuttlebutt?
A rumor.
What?
I did not know that. I've not ever heard of.
I've heard of the word scuttlebutt, but
Yeah. I always thought
it's
of
spelled BUTT, like butt.
Yeah.
Like
Scuttle.
so you can't really call somebody a scuttlebutt.
No, it's a rumor or gossip. Tell me everything I need. Tell me everything I need the scuttlebutt.
Wow.
The scuttlebutt is that she's found a new job.
Wow. Rumor has it. Scuttlebutt has it.
Yeah.
I would rather say rumor.
I
can't even imagine like in a conversation saying, scuttlebutt has it. People would be like, who has it?
I just honestly, it threw me. That was one of the times, like I've heard of it, but I can honestly tell you, I never would have put scuttlebutt to that definition.
Man,
I never, ever, it's been misused a long time.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. Well, do we have anything else that we want to talk about tonight? Do we have anybody we want to plug or anything like that? We have a really cool upcoming interview with JJ Keller.
Mm-hmm.
And JJ Keller, by the way, is one of TalkCDL sponsors. And you guys should know, JJ Keller is the expert in getting you moving as far as if you want to become a trucking company, get your own DOT number, let them them literally help you with every aspect of becoming one. They are the experts.
Right.
If you want to get going smoothly and from consortium to DOT number to MC number to everything, they are the people. And
they are. And if you're looking at trying to start with, start something and you're like, wanting to know how to get going with it, that would be another thing. But they're also, for TalkCDL, they are having a little special type of
what?
It's like a
promo?
Yeah, well, it's like a little can't get the word out. Not a game.
I have no idea what you're getting at. But here we are at the end of the show, and you're holding everybody up. There's people right now going, "Come on, Ruthann, get it out, so I can flip to something else."
I hear this all the time from Troy. It's not a game, but it's like a promo game. It's something that it's a website. It's like for our specific podcast, they're going to have a special event going on, like a special link that when you go to
promotion.
Yeah, but it's I can't get it, but
Well, I think we'll live without it. Yeah. Okay, come on. You got anything else? Let's get out of here. Come on.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.